As a professional makeup artist, I try a massive amount of makeup products, but they don't all make the cut in my professional or personal use. I wanted to do something really fun and useful for you all as your very own personal beauty pro. So I've been keeping track of the makeup products that I have reached for most. So gather your hors d'oeuvres and a beverage, maybe pop on a face mask because we are going to have a girly girl good time. You're going to walk away educated, entertained, and inspired. Hi, pretty people. It's Crystal, your very own personal beauty pro. And if you are new here, I actually am a beauty professional. I am a working professional makeup artist, and I work in primarily what's called commercial or advertising, but I also do editorial and many a New York Fashion Week. I've served as a beauty editor. I do some beauty writing. I've had the privilege of working in many facets of the beauty industry, and what I love to do is take that professional behind the scenes knowledge and share it with you. Today's video is really for the beauty lover, and even though it's my profession, I never get tired of it. Products I'm sharing with you today are not the only good products that I love, but these are the ones that I just keep reaching for. I have quite the makeup lineup for you, and it's in pretty much every makeup category you can think of. I'm going to start with tools because they are super important. You don't have to break the bank, but you do want a nice set of brushes and some good quality sponges. Keep those clean and maintained, and they will go a long way toward a really pretty makeup application. So I'm going to share some of my most reached for tools lately. First up are the often imitated, never duplicated Beauty Blender sponges. Yes, I really do think that these are superior in quality, but yes, I do use other types of sponges depending on what I'm applying. But when it comes to foundation and face work and really getting a refined complexion, I do love these beauty blenders, and I use them on myself quite a bit as well. If I'm using the beauty blenders on talent, then I will generally let them just take the blenders with them because I prefer to use a brand new blender on each individual. And one of the perks of being a pro is you do get a pro discount on many brands. I know these are a bit pricey, but the pro discount takes the sting out of buying them, and I try to buy them in bulk as well. Another frequently used tool are puffs. I really love these velvet puffs. The triangle shape is nice because it has the wide area for the larger spaces and that triangle tip to get in the tighter areas. These particular ones also have a nice band, so when you're applying other areas of the face, you can rest your hand on the face without leaving prints. Beauty Blender has a really nice version. They have a dual-sided puff. One side is just super lush and plush and velvety, almost like velour, and the other side is like a super soft sponge type. So one side is more for powders, the other side I found is better for creams or for blotting. I have more pencil sharpeners than I can count. Two of my favorite are Pat McGrath's, and I also love MAC's pencil sharpener. Always sharpen your lip and eye pencils before every single application. It may not seem necessary, but once you start to do it, you'll notice the big difference. You get a fresh application, you get more precision, you get a cleaner application. It also allows you to wipe off, like say if you're doing your eye makeup in your waterline, you want to wipe off your pencil on a paper towel between uses and sharpen it again between each eye. I love Sonia G's brand of makeup brushes. She has such a strong understanding of how to shape and design brushes for particular uses, and they have all really stood up as far as quality is concerned. So I love these brushes. I have a ton of them in different styles. I haven't used as many MAC brushes ever since they changed the composition of them. Once upon a time they were superior. I have some from almost 20 years ago that are just fabulous, but now I find they're not quite as sturdy as they used to be honest. In the Now Synthetic range, they do have a couple of brush designs that I think are exceptional. I have several of these 132 brushes. They have a really nice shape. They're shaped like a paddle style, but because they have this dual fiber style, then the tips are softer, but then the black portion is a bit firmer. Beautiful for both applying and buffing and making everything beautiful, skin-like and seamless. This is a new one, a retractable lip brush. A lot of people don't use lip brushes in their everyday routine. If you don't, try a lip brush and feather out your lip liner and apply your lipstick with a lip brush. It is worth those few extra seconds. Your lips will look pristine. Another brush from MAC I have been loving is the MAC 209. When we do eyeliner, a lot of times we'll use an angled brush, but this is a artist style, a pointed shape brush, really beautiful for gel and liquid liner. There are a few primers I love, and Estee Lauder is one of them, the Futurise Aqua Brilliant Watery Glow Primer. I've shared this before, but it's still at the top of the list because it's such an elegant formula. It melts into the skin, but it leaves what's almost like a super thin veil of silk. A primer that I absolutely love is the Tom Ford Soft Matte Primer. This is one of the best primers on the market. Texture is superior. This is another one that goes on very silky smooth. It refines skin and refines pores. It's beautiful. So if you can get your hands on it, especially perhaps for a discount, then I love it. Then eye primer is something I don't reach for all the time. It depends on the circumstances. For example, if I'm going to be out and about all day and I want a really pretty eyeshadow look, generally speaking, the quality of my eyeshadows and the way I apply them makes them last all day. I really don't have to use a primer. However, sometimes when I really just want that extra bit of insurance, I will use a good one. I will also do this if the talent, the actor or model, if I'm not going to be able to get to them to touch them up, then I'll use something like this to extend their eyeshadow wear. But on many occasions, like for a commercial or a photo shoot where we're going to be doing multiple looks, then I don't necessarily need to lock down the eyeshadow because I'll be removing it and we'll be doing multiple looks. Urban Decay has a superior one, but the one I've been reaching for, MAC Prep and Prime, the 24-hour Extend Eye Base. This is beautiful. You just put a super whisper thin layer over the eye. This will grab and make your eyeshadows pop and really last. The next category is concealer. One of my favorite that's a hybrid pro product but also a consumer brand as well is Pat McGrath's concealer because it has a true full coverage. I noticed that many consumer concealers, and when I say consumer, I mean mostly brands that you might find at a Sephora or an Ulta, although there are pro brands there too. But many brands generally have a medium and even sometimes a light coverage. And as you know, I am not a big fan of the light and medium coverage concealers because that is essentially a foundation. So there's no need to buy a separate light coverage product. Concealers, I really feel should conceal, meaning you should get full coverage. Pat McGrath's concealers do just that. They are beautiful for concealing blemishes, but also for highlighting or contouring. Hourglass has also done a beautiful job producing a concealer that can be used both by a consumer and also by a pro. I love this because this is also full coverage, but this has a lighter weight, more whipped, almost airy consistency, so it sits on the skin beautifully. One of my pro and personal jams is MAC's Studio Finish Concealer. This is their cream concealer. It lays down on the skin. Even though it's a cream, it doesn't get greasy. It's very skin friendly. So when you use it in areas like under the eye, your skin looks supple and healthy. It doesn't look cakey or dry. One thing I do wonder though, I wonder if MAC has not tweaked the formula as the years have gone by. Although I still love this, I don't think it's quite the gangster coverage that it once was back in the day. And many of you, including any fellow MAC alumni out there, will know, whoops, know that the Studio Finish Concealer is the same formula as the full coverage foundation. Now, this is a major key alert. I don't hear many people mentioning this product, and this is one of the best concealers on the market. I hope and pray they never discontinue this. This is Lancome's Tantidel Ultra Wear Camouflage. This will keep your confidences and hide your secret. It's beautiful. It's a lightweight cream. It is truly full coverage. You can cover just about anything you want. This is truly one of my favorite concealers of the many in my collection. The main powder I have been repeatedly reaching for is Givenchy's Prism Lead. The loose version has 4 chambers. It's a very fine, lightweight powder, but it has a beautiful smoothing effect. It looks very airy. It gives you the mattification without so much looking like powder sitting on top of the foundation. For eyeliner, I have not been as thrilled with my pencils lately. I'm going through some sort of phase. So I decided to start reaching for the OG again. That is Inglot, in particular Inglot number 77. It's a blackety black gel eyeliner. It's so rich and just create the most beautiful smudge liner, precision liner, cat eye. Then for brows, Valentino has a multi-purpose brow pencil, and it's also a pen, and it's the pen side that I really like. There are a few brands that have come out with the brow pen, but sometimes the tip and the dispensing mechanism is not quite what I want it to be, but Valentino has done a good job. I would love to see them come out in just a couple of more shades. I've also returned to a couple of Anastasia Beverly Hills brow products, the brow powders. These come in many different shades. They're a great way to naturally enhance brows. They have shades to flatter blonde to brunette, redheads, everything in between. I like them because they look soft and they create a nice base shape. And then the brow pomade is a nice long wearing cream that you can add to add more hair-like strokes. The next category up is eyeshadow. And a disclaimer, keep in mind that I am a professional artist, and so I have an enormous amount of product. I do keep my Pro Kit product separate from my personal product. You're going to see a very large amount of eyeshadows, but don't be alarmed. One of the eyeshadows I've been reaching for most is by Pat McGrath. If I showed you all the ones I've been loving, the video would be entirely too long. I decided to just show it to you in one shot. So I pulled one of my storage drawers with the Pat McGrath in it. And if you would like to see a dedicated Pat McGrath video one day, let me know. If I get a real response for that, I would love to do it. There are 2 reasons I reach for Pat McGrath. The formula is exceptional. It's not just good, it's exceptional. The weight, the blendability, the way it sits on the skin, the way they look on camera. They're not ordinary shadows. The other is the fun textures and color selection. They range from subtle to show-stopping. I love her quad, so if you ever see a Pat McGrath quad and you know you'll really use those shades, I recommend them. Venusian Sunrise is such a well-balanced palette, and it's one that you can get multiple looks out of. And then I realized everything in a brand's range just simply cannot be permanent. But if one thing was, I wish it was her 6 shade eyeshadows. They are beautifully done. Her Mothership Mega palettes are fabulous. Of course, they're a makeup lover's dream. They are limited, but if you come across any and you love and will use the colors, these are another one that I have really enjoyed. Then of course I have to show you at least one mothership palette. I have almost all of them. One of the ones that is just stunning, the 9th one, the Utopian Dream. This can give you bridal. This can take you to edgy and editorial. This can give you night out on the town. Beautiful colors and finishes. The other reach for eyeshadow brand is Natasha Denona, and I'll show you a couple of my favorites. The reason I reach for these very often is for a similar reason as Pat McGrath. Natasha Denona really does produce exceptional quality in her eyeshadow. In addition to her quality, she comes out with so many beautiful combinations of shades. And in advertising and commercial work, most of the looks are much more subdued than in an editorial. So Natasha Denona has a really nice range of neutrals and wearable glam. It's just about impossible for me to choose a favorite, but I will give you some of the ones that I really love. The Sunrise palette. I don't hear people rave about this one as often, but this is one of my all-time favorite palettes from Natasha Denona. Just a stunning selection of sunrise shades, oranges, pinks, burgundies, rose golds, bronzes. The Bieber palette is a stunning selection of high-end nudes and neutrals. You can create absolutely any mood from this. The next category is blush. Blush did her big one last year, although I had been telling you for years that you needed blush, but I digress. There are a couple of absolutely beautiful blushes that I have been reaching for. Myself personally, I've been really trying to reach for more of my products that don't get as much love, and I have a small collection of Chanel blushes. Once I picked these up, I could not put them down. I was wearing them every day. Chanel really makes a beautiful blush. They look innocent and unassuming in the pan. On the skin, they are just pretty. So refined and skin-like. Look so subtle in the pan, you wonder if they'll show up, but they are exquisite. For pro work, I have been loving the Troy Surratt blushes. Some of the most beautiful, well-formulated blushes. Really silky and elegant, and the colors are gorgeous. You can create your own palette, so this is interchangeable. You can also store them individually in these sliding cases. Let's talk bronzer, because I am a huge bronzer fan. Not only does it just really light up the complexion, there's a lot of different ways you can use bronzer. You can use it as true bronzer to give a really sun-kissed effect. You can use it to create shape and shadow. It's a really nice substitute for blush. The matte bronzing brick by Victoria Beckham Beauty is spectacular. I would think after the many beautiful bronzers I have tried, nothing could blow me away. But I keep circling back to this particular bronzer. You really just have to try them on the skin. They're so beautiful and refined. They practically blend themselves, and the shades are a lot more flexible than you would imagine. And she has this sort of throwback vintage packaging that I really love. Chanel's Healthy Glow powders, they come in a few shades, and to look at them in the pan, you wouldn't know just how spectacular they are. These go on the skin like a second skin. They are seamless. You can't tell where they begin or end. Some are more golden, some have a bit more burnished warm red undertone. You look healthy and wealthy and like you've been on vacation. Let's talk about highlighters, because a good, well done highlighter will never go out of style. I've never met a Chanel highlighter that wasn't beautiful. Now this particular one belongs to me. It's an oversized illuminating face powder, and it is such a silky, beautiful formula. It glides on the skin like you were born with it, and it's just so glamorous to use. MAC Extra Dimension highlighters, they have some gorgeous shades. They melt into the skin beautifully. You can do something really high horsepower, or you can do something more subtle. They feel and look like butter. This highlighter is relatively new to my lineup. I've had it for a few months. This is by House Labs, and this is Fire Opal. Now to the touch, it's maybe not as silky or as gel-like as some of the other highlighters. However, if you have a nice satiny skin, perhaps you missed it first, or you haven't fully set your foundation, it still melts and gives that same beautiful high beam finish. This particular shade, it's a beautiful multi-dimensional coral with gold spun through it. Some of the best highlighters in my large collection are from Pat McGrath. She also does beautiful colors. Her formula is elevated, so it's going to be exceptionally silky, almost like a cream. She has several different types and names of highlighters. I believe the ones in the regular collection that aren't limited edition are the Divine Glow highlighters. Most reach for standout lip products. You've heard me talk about these before, but the collection is growing and I'm really still loving these. These are the Sephora liquid lip colors. Beautiful formulas, affordable, huge range of colors. Pat McGrath really does have one of the nicest lip formulas on the market. In particular, I really like her matte formula because it's pigmented, it goes on even and smooth, and it never goes on patchy. It has beautiful colors and they last really well. The one challenge with these are they seem to be out of stock really often. Fenty really knocked it out of the park with their velvet formula. These go on, look like, and wear almost like they actually have velvet in the formula. Beautiful intensity with these. These are not the ones that dry like paint and won't budge. They do have a bit of movability in the formula, so you do want to apply them neatly and you may have to touch them up a bit, but a little transfer is fine for beautiful lip products like these. Clear Mac Lip Glass is still one of my favorite lip glosses of all time. Patent leather formula really gives a high gloss to the lip. Almost never does anything give MAC's clear lip glass a run for its money. That is until I tried the Fenty Ice formula. This is a sumptuous glassy gloss. Here's a tip for both yourself and something else to be on the lookout for if you ever have the services of a makeup artist. You do not use this wand to apply directly to any client. You would dab this on a palette and then you would use a separate lip brush, and you would never double dip into this product so it stays sanitary. Similar tip for you as an individual, even if it's your own personal lip gloss, if you put it on a palette or on the back of your hand and then use a lip brush, you're not putting this wand on top of lipstick and lip liner and muddying up the product. One of the most important aspects of any makeup look is foundation. This is the full coverage foundation. These come in palettes and in a variety of colors. These are really beautiful for set work. One of the first foundations in my kit was RCMA, and they are still fabulous down to this day. This is a pro brand, but it is also available to consumers. They sell them by individual color also, but this is a palette. This is a cream, but it goes on lightweight. You can sheer it out for a sheer coverage, or you can wear it full coverage and it will cover just about anything you can imagine and give you a flawless finish. It is super long wearing, does not look heavy on the skin. You can see just how much I've been back in my MAC bag. This is the famous Studio Fix powder foundation. A beautiful, truly full coverage, easy to apply. You can wear sheer, you can build up to full coverage. It is beautiful layered on top of liquid or cream foundation. This was a really big staple for doing like newscaster work. Very few things could compete with my Studio Fix, but there are some exceptions like this Makeup Forever powder foundation. Superb. You will look like a matte, smooth, velvety baby doll with this formula. A foundation that's new on the scene but has climbed to the top of my list is the Prada foundation. They did not just call it a luxury foundation, they actually have come through with a beautiful luxury formula, very high end. It's so elegant and lightweight, but it still creates a flawless finish. This had a little buzz when it was first released, and a lot of people were comparing it to one of Tom Ford's foundations. This is the Estee Lauder Futuriste Hydra Rescue, a satiny dream. If you love that dewy, glowy foundation, but you want something that lasts, this is beautiful. This is one of my top foundations of the year and one of my favorite foundations of the moment, and it's such a surprise. I thought it would be a cute little tint, but this is a gorgeous foundation. The Chanel Water Fresh goes on lightweight, feels nourishing, but looks beautiful. Highly recommend trying a sample of this. Bubble Wear has been reigning supreme. This is really the queen of full coverage foundation. Smooth, even, flawless. You just look like $1,000,000. You can wear it in a natural, lightweight way, or you can wear it full horsepower, but however you wear it, the skin looks smooth and flawless. Stays in place, it's long wearing, it photographs beautifully. I am still loving double wear. What have you really been reaching for in your makeup collection? Or have you been reaching for anything at all? I will be looking to hear from you in the comments, and I'll also be looking for you in the very next video. But until next time, keep it pretty.